Hi, Dr. Gaxno Perry. And today, someone brought to my attention um, something that the WHO said and retracted. Remember, they done something based on a paper, a single useless paper, so to say, that was then withdrawn from publication from the Lancet and the New England Journal of Medicine. Remember that study about hydroxychloroquine and didn't make any sense why they used that study. So yesterday, someone pointed out to me that the WHO made another statement. This was made by a Maria von Kirkhoff at the WHO. Back in the days, remember, people were very cautious before they came out to announce anything to the public. But you notice, if the intention is to deceive and to mislead, then they keep coming out almost like a last-ditch effort. What else can we do to confuse the medical community as well as the general public? That seems to be the pattern here. And so because people screamed at her or at the WHO, they withdrew that statement. This is not the time to be making foolish statements, particularly if you're a professional and you know what you're doing. I may falsely accuse somebody of something and I need to withdraw that. But the principles governing the practice of medicine and the dissemination of proper scientifically based information should never be something that has to be withdrawn or retracted. We saw that with the professor of medicine and his bunch of people that wrote those articles. And we're seeing it now with Maria von Kirkhoff. The advice I'm going to give you on this is simple. Get your own facts. But I sense that some people, because of political inclinations, they hate POTUS. And so anything that has to do with POTUS, they'll just be so quick to attack and feed on it and start a feeding frenzy and attacking frenzy. So they're missing out on the intellectual parts of their own growth, development, and sanity. You see, you can no longer rely on the media. You need to get that fact straight. Which means if you really want to know something, get a hint about its existence, and then on your own, instead of feeding on the negativity that the media perpetuates, get your own facts, examine your own things, anything that you feel you need to know about. I'll give you an illustration today that I'm going to share with you. Why would anybody in the medical profession go out there and announce that something is asymptomatic? I'm going to show you a little diagram now that makes such a statement just senseless, if you ask me. Why would I say asymptomatic when the general public may think asymptomatic means safe? Am I thinking if you're in the healthcare profession and you're a communicator, whether or not you're a good or a bad one, you know that there are going to be implications from whatever it is that you say. And at this moment, that means saying asymptomatic can be misconstrued by the general public to mean they are safe. Let's take a look at this picture here. Right here are 4 stages of a natural history of an infectious agent. In other words, something that can cause an infection to you. So what I've done here is, look, when you come into contact with an infectious agent, that's stage 1 in the natural history of the disease. That's contact. Contact means you've been in contact with the infectious agent. It's going to get into your system, and eventually when it gets into your system, that's stage 2. You're infected. But depending on the type of tests available, we may not be able to detect that infection, maybe because of the incubation period. But sometimes within 2 days, even if you're not showing symptoms in stage 3, sometimes within 2 to 3 days, we may be able to detect that you're infected with COVID-19, and it's a SARS-CoV-2 virus. So you come into contact with a virus here, stage 1. Establish you're going to get an infection. Whether that infection is going to lead to early symptoms or late symptoms is another thing. But at stage 2, it's difficult, almost impossible to detect. but you do have an infection. At stage 3, you have the infection, you're infected, we can detect it, you show enough clinical signs and symptoms, and when we test you with the regular test that we have available, we can find out that you're infected. Here, if you're infected, we may need a super ultra test that's not even yet been designed or manufactured to detect this infection at this very early stage. But here, at the established stage, we will be able to detect it. And that's what's typical here, where we check for the RT-PCR presence of the virus or antibodies. At stage 4 is outcomes, whether you become disabled, whether you die, or you, God forbid, whether the person is disabled, dies, or recovers. That's stage 4. That's the outcome stage. So there are 4 stages. Now go back to this stage 1, at the contact stage. See, there have been studies done showing that the virus may be viable. The influenza virus may be viable. SARS-CoV-2 virus may be viable for hours, sometimes days, on certain plastics or metal surfaces. And I wrote about that in my book, which I might share 1 or 2 things with you in a few minutes. So if you are in contact with a surface that's got a lot of viruses on it, you have come into contact, you might get infected if you take that and go to your nose, breathe in, scratch your eyes and stuff like that. But at the point of contact, remember, it may not even enter into your airway tract yet, but because your hands have grabbed something that has the virus, it's called fomite transmission. So F-O-M-I-T-E. You may actually transfer infection even though you are not infected to another person. Now think about that. The WHO already knows that, or rather should know. So if they are saying asymptomatic, what are they saying in effect? It makes absolutely no sense. So now I'm going to show you this diagram here, just so you know. The 6 feet that the WHO is recommending, the CDC is recommending, when a person sneezes, that sneeze can create a cloud of close to about 27 feet, 23 to 27 feet with a sneeze. So this social distancing of 6 feet is not good enough. In the book COVID-19, Physician Treatment Strategies, I've shared with you, it's physician treatment strategies, but nobody stops anyone who is curious and smart enough, or rather eager enough to learn, to take a look at the book and figure out what is it that I need to know about how my doctors are supposed to treat me. What is it that I need to know about how I need to what? Be treated when I go, or when my family goes to the doctor. Because if you don't know these things, it's pretty obvious that your doctor may not know them, or your doctor may be going by what he heard on the news and be misled. I think there's a deliberate intention to mislead healthcare professionals and allow things to spread beyond what we could probably handle. So I will adjure you, get your own facts. Don't be lazy. Most of you watching my videos are very self-driven and motivated people anyway. So get your own facts. Google them. Look up things and stay safe. This is Dr. Caxno Perry. Like I said, the book's out. It's on iTunes. I have refused to put it on Amazon. First of all, I'm not in the mood to go back and forth with them. And number 2, some of the books that I saw that they were going to allow to be published on June 2nd, they've pushed those books forward to July 14. So they fooled all those people, and they're not going to publish their books. Why? You and I have no idea. So have a wonderful day.